What's up, YouTube? I hope you guys are doing well. My week has been awesome, and the reason why is because I took a little time off and, well, shot some fireworks off. After all, it is 4th of July. Now, today we're going to be talking about 3 magic tricks. That's right, 3 card tricks that I think every magician should know. And the reason why is because, well, I did a whole episode on how to learn about card magic. Where should you start if you want to practice card magic? This was all spurred, of course, by a commenter on one of my videos. He commented and said, you know, I'd really like to know where I should start if I want to learn card magic. And so I did that video. So I figured if I'm already doing a video on that, I might as well teach some of my favorite card tricks, and I think you guys are going to get a kick out of these. Alright, now before we get into that though, why don't you go ahead and smash that like button. Oh, and of course subscribe. You're not going to want to miss future content. We're going to have a lot of things here on this channel. And it's not all going to be reviews. So anyways, I know you're going to enjoy this content. I know you're going to enjoy future content. Let's get in to looking at the magic that we're going to be learning today. Alright, so the first thing we're going to learn is an interesting effect. This is what it looks like. You show a deck of cards. You say, you know what? All of these cards kind of look blue. I'm not going to spread through them too much, but guess what? There are a few cards in here that are a little bit weird. You'll see what I mean in a second. But before we get into that, I'd like you to select a card. So you know what? I think what we'll do is I'll take probably this many cards here, alright? One of these cards, just point to any single one that you like, one that stands out to you. Do you think any of these look a little weird? So let's imagine that they chose, of course, the 7 of hearts, alright? Let's just imagine they chose the 7 of hearts, alright? You say, alright, interesting, you chose the 7 of hearts. I want you to see that all of these cards here are blue. If you look at the 7 hearts, you'll know that it, of course, is red. Pretty strange, right? Now, the cool thing is, it doesn't just have to happen once. We can actually do this again, so I'll show you what I mean. Of course, all these are blue. Now, all of these are blue, too, except for one. In fact, why don't you just go ahead and point to any single one? So imagine they point to the 4 of spades, all right? You say, interesting, the 4 of spades. I want you to see that all of these cards here are blue as well. And yet, this one that you pointed to is red. And the interesting thing is, it's literally the only red one out of any of the other cards, like I said. And it's quite fascinating. At this point, of course, they'll be very blown away, and you say, you know what, that's pretty good, but you know what, I think we can do better. Not only are these all blue, but the whole trick from the beginning was an illusion, because if I snap my fingers, both of these cards turn back to blue. Alright, are you excited to learn it? Let's learn this trick right now. So how is this trick done? Well, you see the trick is done very simply, with one special card. You see it's a gaffed card. It's a double-sided card, with 2 backs, one red and one blue. Now we're going to be using a move called the double lift. And the double lift has a long history of use throughout magic. In fact, it's probably one of the oldest card moves out there. Now, the cool thing is what we're going to learn is how to use it to create this magical effect, which is the illusion of being able to predict or change a card that somebody chooses. So basically what happens is you're going to have this card here on top with the red side down, so it's right on top like that. And the nice thing is if you spread out this way, all the cards are blue, and if you spread this way, well, you can pretty much show almost all of the cards, but once you get to about here, you just want to be careful with spreading too far, because then they'll see that card. So just make sure you don't spread too far. It's usually pretty easy to do. You can pretty much go almost there, and then just stop like this. Show the cards. You say, look, you can see all the cards here, and then you briefly show a little bit. You say you can kind of see the cards here, but there's actually a few cards that are different. So you're going to just say all of that while you're doing this, and then what you're going to do is a fun little thing where you pull off just about 8 to 10 cards, maybe even 6 to 8 to 10 cards, right? Somewhere in that area. So you pull off some cards here and you say, one of these cards is a little bit different. And then as you're saying that and pointing, you turn this hand over and then you keep these cards face up. So you turn this hand over, you use this finger to come here, and you just hold these cards out like this and you say, you know, which of these cards here would you like? And you point again as you do that. Which of these cards here would you like? So let's say they chose the king, right? Now the king's normal, obviously, you know that. But as you point to it, you say, oh, so this card here, you're going to point, and as you do, you're going to push this card forward, you're going to pull it back and you're going to get what's called a pinky break. Now this move is also very old, and is taught in things like Royal Road to Card Magic and other classical magic books, just like the ones that I mentioned last week. Okay, so here it is, and so is the double lift, by the way. It's also taught in those books as well. So here it is, like this, and what you're going to do is you're going to come across and you're going to grab, say, the king of spades after you have that pinky break, right? So it's already up. And as you do, you're going to pull that card across like this. You're going to use the pointer finger and the middle finger to just kind of pull that card in, and then this finger as well, but still keep the break here, all right? So now it's going to push those two cards together. Now as you're doing this, all right, as you're doing all of this, as you're pulling this back and straightening it up and lining up with that card using all of these fingers and the thumb, you're going to be taking these cards, flipping them over and saying the whole thing about, wow, look, they're all blue. That way they're not paying attention to this card while you're doing that, so they won't notice that you're pushing the two cards together. So wow, they're really all blue, which is interesting, because this card, and what you're going to do is you're going to come with this finger, you're going to put it underneath that break. And remember to kind of keep the hand tilted like this, down. That kind of hides the break a little bit, so they're not going to be aware of it. You're going to take this finger, you're going to put it in here like this, you're going to pick both cards together at the same time and flip them over. Now as you do, you're going to pull it like this, and look, see how this corner here comes past this pinky? You're going to put it past the pinky like this, just kind of right there, so it's kind of caught between my fingernail and the pinky like this. And then you're just going to drop this card like that. And what that's going to do is flip both cards over together, but still keep the pinky break here. Okay? So you do that and say, look, it's red, just like that. Huh. Pretty peculiar. You say, you know what? But it will happen again. Watch. You put it to the side. Say, in fact, just choose any card here, like this. And then let's say they choose the 10. So what you're going to do here is you're going to move the 10 out jogged like this. You're going to basically go to whatever card they choose. Let's imagine it's the 10 of clubs. You're going to pull it up right here, and you're going to come back, and then you're going to grab behind here that 10 like this. And as you do that, you're going to flip these cards over, and you say, that's interesting. This one, you chose this one. And as you point to it, do this again. Turn over. This one, right? Turn it like that. This one. And then you're going to push this out again. So you're going to push out. Try to keep your hand vertical when you point to this one, all right? Because you don't want it tilted so far that they see it like this. So vertical. This one. And as you do, you're going to come back and grab it after you get that pinky break again. Do the same thing you did last time, right? So you're lining these two up. And then you're going to flip these over at the same time and say, look, these are all blue. And yet, the one you chose is red. It's literally the only one out of the rest. And then you show the rest of the cards. So, of course, that leaves this double-sided one here and that card here. And what you're going to do is you spread it out like this, but as you come back, so after you spread all these out, you're going to pull them back in, and you're going to pull all of them back except for the last two, right? And then you're going to slide that one back and then slide this one back. But while you're sliding this one back, you're going to keep it in a pinky break. So you're going to use your pinky to keep that break. And then you slide this one back as well. You say, that's crazy, because even these were blue as well, and yet this card was the only red one besides the king. And then you spread them again like this, showing them all blue. And if you want, you can do this thing where you flip them over and you spread them like this as well. You just got to make sure not to push too hard here so it doesn't reveal the extra card. If you're a beginner and you're not good at spreading, I do recommend not doing this because you might mess up. So it's good enough just to show the backs, right? And at that point, the rest of the trick's done. You say, you know, the interesting thing is, this is all an illusion. If I snap my finger, they go back. And then they go back just like that. Truly miraculous effect. Alright, so the question is, where do you get one of these cards? Now, you can make one yourself, and that works pretty well. But if you're going to use glue or double-sided sticky tape to make one of these, just beware they are thicker. They can sometimes be noticed, specifically because the ends will start to fray. Now, it's fine if you're going to use it for 20 uses or maybe 30 uses. You can get away with it sometimes, especially if it's a really well-made gimmick. If it's a well-made gimmick, you can easily get away with that many uses. But it is likely after so many uses they might fray. So some people choose to just buy them in bulk. You can buy these in bulk. I'm going to leave a link down below where you can if you would like. But either way, both methods work, so just do whatever works for you. I mean, if you're on a tight budget, just make some for yourself. It's pretty easy. You just get a red deck of cards, blue deck of cards. Of course, if you buy both of them together, it's usually about the same price as just getting a pack of these anyway, so I mean, it just depends. but it all is all what you need. So if you have extra cards lying around, definitely just make it yourself. It'll be cheap. Alright, so that's how you can get a hold of these. I just thought you'd like that. Let's actually get into the next trick. Alright, so this is a fun trick because it can use a signed card. Now let's take a look at this trick. This is a fun little version of the Torn Restored. There are better versions of this trick that you can, of course, get. As you will see, I will explain that later, but this is still a good trick the way it is done now. Let's take a look at what's going on. So what you're going to do is you're going to spread some cards out. You say, look, I just choose any card, alright, doesn't matter which. So let's imagine they chose this card here, alright. So they take the card out, and you can have them sign it. So we'll just put a little signature here. I'll put my name here, like that. And you can see it there. Alright, try to do that so it's easy to see. Bam. Alright, now, what we're going to do is you say, you can see the card here, the name is right here, right? So imagine that's their name, they've signed that card, and you say, watch carefully, what we're going to do is we're going to do something interesting with this card. We're going to, of course, stab the card like this. So, of course, you stab the card, it destroys the card, you even push it all the ways through, like so. You can see the hole, like that. And they say, watch carefully. If I do this right, you're going to see this card go back. See, if I go like this, I begin to rub it, 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 like this. It begins to heal. In fact, I don't know if you can see this, but in fact, there it is. It's almost healed. It's completely healed. Say, look carefully. If I go like this, you can see it. It begins to heal. Oh, there it is. And of course, their card is completely healed like that. And you have a beautiful, wonderful magic trick that's quite easy to do. Let's learn how to do this trick here. There you can see the signature. So this magic trick is pretty good. It's pretty easy to do. What you're going to do is you're going to get a double-sided card again, but this one's a normal double-sided card. So it's blue on both sides. And what I mean by that is it's not red and blue, right? They're not different colors. They're the same color. You can also get these pre-made, so I will put a link down below as well for these, where you can buy these. It's always good to have a stack of these because there are other tricks you can do, such as a triumph using these cards. It makes it a little bit easier of a trick to do. But in general, you can use these for so many different things. Even rising card is way easier to do with this, you know. So let's check out exactly what I did. I just actually poked a hole in it. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take a pencil, or actually, you know, it's even better than a pencil. Well, I guess a pencil is actually pretty good. You know, anything that you can poke through the card that's going to be close to the size of a pen. I used a screwdriver because that's all I had right now. A screwdriver is probably a little better because sometimes the pencil will leave a little mark. But if you use a screwdriver, you can just kind of push it through, and then you're going to take the pen and push it through as well. All right, after you push it through with the screwdriver, and you're just going to push it all the ways through, get a nice hole in there, and then you're just going to take the hole and push it back, because you'll notice how it kind of like splits out like this. And so all you're going to do is just kind of push those back in like this, and then flatten that out, and then it's going to look fairly normal. The key here is to use a sharper like screwdriver when you first puncture, because what I did the first time is use a duller one that wasn't very sharp, and it kind of bent the card, warped it a little bit. So you're not going to want to warp the card very much once you make the hole through it, but you just want to make it through so you can push it back like I did. Right? So now what you're going to do is you're going to put the side that you pushed through, right? So the side that sticks out. So the side that sticks out, right, when you push it back, you're going to want the side that was sticking out to be face up, okay? Now I know that sounds weird because you'd think that would be noticeable. What you're going to do is keep your thumb on it. So you walk up to them like this, and you have your pen, you hand in the pen, and then you spread the cards like this while hiding that spot. You take out said card, right? They take it out, and as they do, you can either push these together like this and then turn it over, or you can just push them together like this and then hold it in this hand instead while you wait for them, whichever you'd like. So if you have a table, you can set it upside down, right? Or if you're standing up, you can just hold it in this hand while covering it, right, with this thumb. So then once they're done signing the card, so here's the actual sign card we used, you're just going to slide it on top of it like this. So you're going to come in like that and lay it there. And then you're going to be pointing to it and you say, you know what's interesting? And as you do that, you're going to push the 2 cards on top over and get a pinky break again. So it's using the same moves we learned before. Pinky break, you pull it in, you grab the pen, and you go to put it away. So you're going to pull these in and keep the pinky break while you do this. That way they don't pay attention to it, okay? They won't notice because you're doing that. So you put it in, and now you're here, and you say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to actually mess with your card. Oh, I don't know why I said put the pen away. Sorry. You're going to take you just take the pen back, and then you can like put it on the side or whatever. And so now you flip their card over, you do this whole thing, and you keep that thing hidden, right? The little spot hidden. But what you're going to do is you're going to push it out while you're hiding it. So you're going to push it out to the edge of your fingers. You want to keep these 2 fingers out, and you're going to take this and you're going to push it over like this, so it covers that hole, and then you're going to push it out and then just go like that. Now you can choose to do it really fast or even hit it if you want. If you want, you can take it like this and then go like that, whatever you'd like. Just make it look like you just push it through, however you feel comfortable doing so. And then you, of course, after you're done, you show them the hole, you say watch carefully, it's going to go back. And all you're doing here is miming. You push it, you put it on top of this one, and as you push, it's going to push that part back together again because it's against the back of this card over here. So you're just pushing it like this, rubbing, and then as you're doing that, you're going to move these 2 cards out. As you stop for a second, you say it's almost done, right? As you push these 2 out, you get that pinky break again, you pull it in, and then as you have the pinky break, you're going to continue to rub here like this, and they say, oh man, I think it's done. Right? And you keep this thumb over it as you do that, and then you flip it over, and then you keep your finger on the center after you flip it over as well, and you're going to pretend to continue to rub it. Alright, you just got to continue to rub it. You say, oh man, it's not quite gone. Oh, I can see it there. Just pretend to see it, and then you say, oh, it's almost gone. I think it's almost there. And while you're doing this, you can push it out a little bit and bend it. Alright, just like actually try to bend it a little bit, because then it's more believable when the card's distorted afterwards. That's just something to be aware of. So you kind of push around like that, bam. You man, like, oh man, look, it went back together. And then you're just going to drop your hand down like this and leave it on the table. You can even spread like this if you like, right? Just don't spread too much. Like I said, I guess that's an advanced move, right? If you're good at spreading, you know, it without revealing the last card, then you can do it. But, I mean, that's only if you have experience in knowing how much pressure you have to push to actually keep it from showing. But, there you go. So that's how the trick's done. Simple gimmick. Like I said, a link to these are down below. You can just make them yourself, just poke a hole through them, and voila, you're ready to perform this trick. Alright, let's learn another. So, this is a very powerful magic trick. It's one of my favorite ways to basically force a card, alright? And this is what it looks like. So you can force a card, you can do another effect as well, I'll show you as well. But what you're going to do is you say, you know what, I'm going to cut this deck of cards, alright, kind of like this. So I'll cut it face up so you can see, like that. Cut it again, like that. Alright, and I'll give a shuffle even. So let's imagine we give a shuffle. Alright. Like that. You can see them go together. And alright, we're going to perform a little bit of magic. I'm going to put it here, and I want the spectator to just go ahead and cut it. So imagine your spectator cuts the deck of cards. They cut anywhere they like. Let's say they cut here, and they look at the card. So you have them look at it. So they look at it. In our case, it's the 4 of clubs. Okay? So memorize it, and then they can just set it back like this. You take the cards. You say, you can see all of the cards like this. And, right? Oh, there's a card flipped over in there. What the heck? Sorry about that. That was not planned. That's not part of the trick. Alright. Let's just pretend that card isn't flipped over. Alright. So they've taken their card. They've memorized it. And basically what happens is then you reveal the card. So you could say, oh, your card is the 4 of clubs. And you would know that, alright? Even though you never actually looked at it. But what's even better is you could then take the cards and you can say, you know what? If I cut like this, I can cut to your cards. Watch carefully. See? Oh, I'm just kidding. All I have to do is do this. Bam. There it is, right? And now you've cut to their cards. Now when you do that, you can put it like this, and then you say, you know what's interesting? If I go like this, all of the cards become your card, right? Like that. And then, of course, all the cards become their card. And that's because this is a trick deck. This is one of my favorite decks of all time. That is the Svengali deck. So if you haven't heard of these, you definitely want to look them up. I'm going to leave a link down below where you can get one. And they are super cool because every other card is basically the 4 of clubs, and every other card is a different card, right? So depending on how you move the deck of cards, it will show either all 4 of clubs or all the other cards. Now, that isn't the best thing. The best thing you can use this deck of cards for, of course, is forcing cards, because when it's face down like this, no matter where they cut, it's going to be the 4 of clubs. That's just how it works. So let's say we cut here. See that? 4 of clubs. So that is what it's really good for. Being able to force a card on someone while you're not even holding the deck of cards. You give them the deck of cards after you've shown them that they're all different, right? So you show them they're all different. You give them the deck of cards. So like this. Give them the deck of cards. They cut. They're like, holy cow, 4 of clubs? How would you read my mind after you tell them that you know what the card is, right? So anyways, that's a powerful trick that I think everybody should know. I'm sure some of you already know this trick. It is very old, and a lot of people who have been interested in magic know about this trick. So, still thought it was worth mentioning. Thanks for your time, guys. I hope to see you again next week. If you like this and you haven't hit the like button yet, then be sure to smash that like button, destroy that like button. And of course, also subscribe. There's, like I said, going to be more interesting material coming. But I thought these were some tricks that were kind of fun and useful, and they were kind of variations that I came up with. So I saw, you know, another cleaner method of the torn, restored type of trick where you poke the pen through it. And it was done differently than the way I did it, a little bit differently, not a whole lot. There was a special gimmick that I had made for it. I thought, you know, why don't I just make a simpler version? Yeah, people might think, wow, does that really work, having it already pre-torn like that? It actually works great. I've never had anybody notice before in real life, so something to be aware of. Also, the one where you, of course, have the double-sided card, if I have it over here still, wherever it is, yeah, this one here, that is red and blue. Just keep in mind that routine that I taught you is kind of a variation of some other older routines. So there are other routines like that, but that was my variation on it. That's how I perform it. I usually perform 3 phases, so you can do it more than once if you want. So obviously I did it twice in that performance, but you can actually do it 3 times if you'd like. So that's how I do it in my actual performances. Anyways, that's pretty much everything I have to share with you guys. I'll see you again next week.